Hi, welcome to Arkansas Brit.
This is Jess.
And this is Gareth.
I'm British.
And I'm American. And we live in Arkansas, USA.
This being our first video, we wanted to start with discussing some of the differences between living in the UK and living in the USA, specifically here in Arkansas where we live now.
Supermarkets.
Okay. The price you see on an item that you're shopping for and buying, that's not necessarily going to be the price you pay out here. In the UK, the price you see listed is going to be the price you pay for that item. Here in the US, the price can actually differ quite a lot. You have your state tax, you have your city taxes, and then you have, if you have a county tax, so the price listed on the item might not necessarily be the price you pay. The price you pay can actually differ quite a lot from what's written. Trolleys, as we call them in the UK, but out here, trolley means tram, which can be confusing for considering the city nearby actually has a tram system that they call a trolley system. So, but in the UK, what we call a trolley, here in the US, they call a buggy or a shopping cart. If you're asking for someone, hey, where are the trolleys? And someone will be like, oh, you want to get the tram?
The labels are different too. In the UK, the labels were they had a lot more information and all the measurements were sort of the same, so it'd be easier to match things up. Like if you had milliliters on one drink, you go look at another drink that's similar. It also had milliliters. Out here, you'd get one item, you'd have a certain measurement, go to a different, the same item but a different brand, and it completely different.
Yeah, I noticed that in the UK we have a lot of mandatory packaging. So in a lot of places you go, the packaging's all the same. It's going to tell you exactly what's in it, what amounts. In a lot of places they have a traffic light system that says, this is red, and it's bad for this, bad for salt, what have you. Whereas here, it can be quite hard to find the values. And let's talk about driving. So out here, the obvious one is driving on the other side of the road. You drive on the right here, and in the UK we drive on the left. The steering wheel is on the opposite side of the vehicle. Out here, getting a driving license here in Arkansas is incredibly easy. You will have a short test, a short written test that's incredibly easy. They give you a booklet with the answers in. You just have to read it, remember the answers, and then answer it on the written test. And then when it gets to the actual driving part of the test, you just you go to the state police headquarters. You speak to one of their staff there, and they come out and get in the car with you, and you drive around the block. And it's literally that. You go around the block, all right turns. They even tell you where to stop for stop signs and traffic lights. And so, it's real easy. It takes 10-15 minutes. But it seems like the general quality of driving or driving knowledge is a bit higher in the UK because it's a lot harder to get a driving license.
And you don't have to do any parking maneuvers out here during your test. You don't have to prove that you can park at all. As long as you can go around the block and pull the car up, you're done.
In the UK, we have a bunch of maneuvers we have to learn. We have to learn the three-point turn, reverse around a corner, parallel park. There's loads of emergency braking, and we also have to do a much longer written test. And the test also includes videos called hazard perception, where you have to click at a certain time when you see hazards and as they develop. And it's a harder test. The reality of it is out here is that things can be so far away that you have to be able to drive. You kind of need to be able to drive.
Another thing with the British driving test is as soon as you have passed your theory, you can go take your actual driving test. You can do that on the same day if you wanted to. In the US, you can't do that. In Arkansas specifically, you have to wait. But you have to wait a week before you can actually take your test. Or was it a month?
No, it was a month.
A month even.
When I came here, so under the agreements with the US and the UK, I believe it's under one of the Geneva Conventions or something like that on driving. It actually says that you can drive for a year on your license in another country as long as they're a signatory, but you actually can't if you move here, because if you move here, you fall under the residency laws, and Arkansas state's law for residents is that you can only drive on an out-of-state license as a resident for 1 month. So even if you take your driving test the day that you arrive, you still won't be legal driving on your foreign license by the time it comes to taking your actual practical driving part of your test.
And trying to get insurance on a license that's not from the state is very difficult. It's very expensive. They will charge you through the nose for it.
Yeah, and that's another big difference actually. Insurance out here tends to be a lot more expensive. And tires are more expensive, which is a strange one. But I also think, and I could be wrong, but it feels like tires last a lot longer out here.
Yeah.
You know, they seem to be more robust. Come on, cat. Don't get up there. Come here. Don't you go pestering my camera. No.
But yeah, tires will last you longer, but it seems wipers go really fast. So cars are a lot less expensive, or at least they feel a lot less expensive out here to buy brand new.
In the UK, it seems that cars new, generally, if you're buying a like for like, they tend to be more expensive to buy brand new. But out here, second-hand cars are more expensive. It seems like they keep their value more.
And out here, you don't have MOTs. You don't have a yearly checkup in Arkansas. I don't know why.
No, so in the UK, if you're watching this and you're American, you don't know, every year a car has to go through an MOT test. I believe it stands for Motor Ordnance Test, but I could be wrong. But the MOT test, basically they check everything on the vehicle. But out here, you see people driving around on cars that are falling apart, and there's no MOT, there's no test, nothing like that.
Don't need a back window.
That I think is an Arkansas state thing. I've been told that they used to have a test out here for vehicles to make sure that they were up to scratch for actually driving, but they don't anymore. So one of the other big differences that I get asked about a lot is firearms. So I will often be asked, whether it's here in the US, the common question is, oh, hey, you don't have guns in the UK, do you? Well, the truth of the matter is we do. There are guns. You can own guns, but not like you can here. Yeah, most handguns are illegal in the UK, and it's very hard to get a license for like a rifle to get a firearm certificate and the ability to own one. So there are a lot less of them, but it doesn't stop criminals from having guns. The bad guys still have guns, and you know. So yeah, but out here, guns are like in your every local Walmart. It seems there's guns, and you know, places like Academy Sport. You know, it's a sports store, and you're walking around the sports shop looking at all of
the shoes, the equipment, the barbecues.
And then you walk around the corner, and there's a big counter of guns and a massive rack of guns. Yeah, ammo and all sorts for sale. They also have things like tasers or stun guns out here that you can buy that are illegal in the UK. Knives, in the UK, there's very restrictive on knives. You can't have like a blade that locks that's longer than so many inches and stuff like that. Whereas out here, there's loads of things like that. You can buy machetes, and you can buy a Roman gladius sword in the store.
And you'd think they'd lock the ammo up, but they don't generally do that. In Walmart, they will lock up some of the ammo behind the gun counter, but you can just get your shotgun shells off the shelf. Yeah. So they don't really.
In the UK, you have to have a firearms certificate to to purchase ammunition. Very few people have one of those. Well, I say few people. I'm sure there's plenty of people that have them, but you know, it's not like it is here, where you can just walk out and go to a store and be like, hey, yeah, I want to buy that shotgun, and I'll buy that rifle, and I'll go pick up some ammunition and I'll take it home with me and go shoot it. You know,
Yeah.
can't really do that in the UK.
And they do have forms for you to fill out that are generally all online, depending on where you go. They're really quick to do. They aren't really all that complicated at all.
I always get asked about the differences, and it's usually from one or two camps. There are either the people that think, oh, you speak the same language, it's almost the same, you know, England's basically the 51st state, and we're all similar. And then the other side, I have people that say, oh, it must be like being on a different planet, everything's different. And the truth is, they're both right. Like in the UK, we watch a lot of American TV and a lot of American movies. All the big top movies tend to be the American movies. But you take driving on the opposite side of the road, on the other side of the vehicle, and the road markings are different, and the signs are different, the road layouts are different, and the way cities are laid out is different, and the way addressing works for finding a place is different, the signs are different, signposts, the driving laws are different, you know, there's just so many differences. Asking for different food and drink and things like that, you know, that, like, the amount of times that I've asked someone, I'd like a bottle of water, and you get, what a bottle of water, you must have water bottle, you know, you must have water, I just want a drink, I just want a bottle of water. And you know, kind of have to learn to start saying, I want a bottle of water, you know, because if you ask for a bottle of water in a lot of places, they won't really get what you're saying. You kind of have to adjust the way you speak to match the way people here are used to hearing it. Yeah. And then you get onto the words that are different. You know, I have to start saying and do now say things like trunk for the boot of a car. You know, I'll say semi or truck for a lorry. You know, I will say trash instead of rubbish. Yeah, so you know, there's a lot that's different here, and it's kind of hard to really put your finger on it and round it up all into one video, especially not without it being insanely long. I love living out here. I love living in the States. I love that we can buy a house out here, and it's a lot cheaper than buying a house in the UK. When, you know, we can actually own a little bit of land, which in the UK would have cost so much money. There's no way we could have afforded it. You know, fuel prices are lower. We can afford to run 2 cars. That would have been difficult in the UK. So yeah, I ultimately, you know, I love it out here. And like we've said, the weather is different here. The weather is, you know, it's ups and downs, but for the most part, you know, it's so much warmer out here in the summer. You know, the weather has a lot more extremes, going from tornado to snowing to enormous thunderstorms to, you know, one day it can be below 0 and the next day it can be t-shirt weather. But ultimately, I love it out here. It's great.
Yeah, I love it too. It's been nice to visit family out here, which it's just one of those things. You move country, so
yeah. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, and that's one of the things I get asked a lot is, what do you miss from the UK? Realistically, I miss my family and my friends, and that's about it. I mean, yeah, there's food that I miss, you know, real Cadbury's chocolate that isn't this Hershey's chocolate made under license that tastes terrible. You know, I miss things, but most of the part you can get the stuff that we miss. Like, I can buy Ribena out here, and I can buy Marmite out here, and I can buy brown sauce out here, you know, and stuff like that when I first got here I couldn't find, and, you know, I really missed it. But you can find that sort of stuff if you look around, you know. If you've made it this far watching this video, well, thank you for watching. We appreciate it. And if you could drop a comment, let us know what you want to see next. That would be great. And hopefully, if you've enjoyed the video, hit like. Consider subscribing. This is our first video. There's not much to see right now, but we're going to try and make some more videos, and based on whatever comments we receive and what people want to know about, we're going to hopefully make a series of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.